The Ukrainian Special Forces eliminated 21 and wounded another 40 DPRK soldiers with FPV drones during a North Korean assault on Ukrainian positions in Kursk. Soldiers of Ukraine's Special Operations Forces, SSO, killed 21 and wounded 40 North Korean soldiers who attacked Ukrainian positions in Russia's Kursk region, according to an SSO report on Telegram. The soldiers of the 8th SSO Regiment, alongside fellow infantry units, held off the North Korean assault for over 8 hours using FPV drones, small arms, and grenade launchers. Ukrainian snipers also provided critical support. The SSO released a video featuring footage of the intense, while from drone and chest-mounted body cameras captured scenes of fierce battles, explosions, close combat, and the elimination of North Korean soldiers. One frame shows a North Korean soldier just 20 meters away from an SSO fighter. After 9 hours of battle, the SSO group had only a third of its ammunition remaining. They used the remaining rounds to neutralize the DPRK troops before deciding to exfiltrate a tactical retreat to a safe location. From the report said the Ukrainian fighters then got into 2 Humvees and left the battlefield. Before this new report, Ukrainian forces managed to capture 2 North Korean soldiers fighting alongside Russian troops in Ukraine's Kursk region. The first confirmed instance of Pyongyang's direct involvement in the war, the soldiers, aged 20 and 26, were wounded in combat and are now receiving medical treatment in Kyiv. Recovered items included Russian-issued military IDs, one assigned to a soldier from Russia's Tuva region, hinting at efforts to integrate North Koreans into Russian units under false identities. Handwritten instructions urged the soldiers to avoid capture, even directing them to take their own lives if necessary, consistent with North Korea's ideology of personal sacrifice and loyalty. Personal diaries revealed deep allegiance to North Korea's leadership. One entry pledged to carry out the Supreme Commander's orders without hesitation. South Korea's intelligence agency reported 300 North Korean soldiers killed and 2,700 injured in the war, highlighting Pyongyang's significant involvement. Ukraine has urged an international response, stressing that Russia is relying on external reinforcements to sustain its campaign. Tweet proposal: Ukrainian Special Ops crush DPRK troops in Kursk. 21 North Korean soldiers killed, 40 injured during an assault on Ukrainian positions. Intense combat caught on video, explosions, snipers, and close-quarters fights. While a Wall Street Journal report on Sunday explained how the Special Forces officer talked down the wounded DPRK soldier who was intent on killing himself with a grenade. A team from Ukraine's 8th Special Operations Forces SSO Regiment encountered a young wounded North Korean soldier in a forested area in Russia's Kursk region earlier this month. The team had been lying in wait for the enemy for several days, having previously observed their movements in the area. On January 20, the Ukrainians made their way through a minefield and set up an ambush, according to a new report by the Wall Street Journal. When the DPRK squad appeared, the SSO troops engaged them, forcing the North Koreans to retreat. The SSO team then swept through the area and found the North Korean lying on the ground, having been wounded in the leg and left behind by his comrades. An event which seems to have become an almost standing operating procedure, SOP, for Pyongyang's forces. On seeing the Ukrainian troops, the injured soldier produced a hand grenade, which he waved in the air. There have been numerous reports that DPRK soldiers have been ordered not to surrender, along with instances of some wounded soldiers being killed by their comrades to prevent their capture, and others killing themselves rather than allowing themselves to be captured. Part of the Ukrainian team's remit had been to try and take a North Korean prisoner, both for operational intelligence purposes, but also to definitively prove that troops from Pyongyang were fighting for Russia. Despite reports from the Ukrainian armed forces that thousands of North Korean soldiers had been killed or injured, there had yet to be one taken prisoner. The team commander, a captain using the call sign Green, slowly approached the wounded man in an attempt to talk him down, initially using some phrases of Korean he had learned for this kind of situation, switching to Russian and using hand gestures to convey the Ukrainians' intention to help the man. Green told him, "Brother, everything's all right," afterwards commenting, "We didn't want him to hurt himself. He and his team were also conscious that the grenade could take them out too." Eventually, the North Korean, who seemed to indicate he had been hit by a drone, relented, gave up the grenade, and allowed the SSO soldiers to treat his wound and prepare to evacuate him. As the SSO team began to leave the area with their captive, Armageddon started, in Green's words, as Russian artillery, no doubt warned of the presence of Ukrainian troops by the retreating North Koreans, started to bombard the area. Fortunately, the team managed to take shelter in the basement of a nearby building before taking advantage of a pause in the barrage to transfer the prisoner to a vehicle that was able to evacuate him from the area. This prisoner was one of two captured in the Kursk region, as reported by Kyiv Post on January. 11th Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky commended the troops for their roles taking the North Koreans prisoner and said they were receiving appropriate medical care, as required under international law. A spokesperson for Ukraine's security service, SBU, said that the capture of the prisoners was irrefutable evidence of DPRK's participation in Russia's war against Ukraine. Despite denials by Pyongyang, a South Korean official cited by the WSJ said Ukraine's forces took great risks in trying to capture North Koreans on the battlefield, as they prefer death to captivity. DPRK troops having been ordered not to allow themselves to be captured and may blow themselves up with grenades or slit their own wrists. The source said that Russia and North Korea were doing everything they could to hide the number of North Koreans who were being killed and injured fighting Putin's war. According to the report, one North Korean soldier was taken prisoner during combat operations in the Kursk region by paratroopers from the 95th Separate Airborne Assault Militia Brigade. He was captured during his first combat mission, which occurred during an assault on positions held by units of the Militia Brigade.